Ah, salut à vous, mes petites fonnières viscoses. Nous réveillons sur les rails avec les TGV Sud-Est de Lima. Comme c'est un train français, je vais faire toute cette présentation en français. Nah, not really. I'm not going to do the entire video in French because I can't be bothered. But yeah, here we have the TGV, which came in this big box here, it's an old Lima Golden series. Now, from what I gather, this particular train pack, was first made in 1981. And from what I've kind of seen, from when I brought this home and got a really good look at it. It hasn't been had any service or maintenance done on it since 1981. So, but yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, I managed to get through to Rails of Sheffield last weekend, and Rails have been doing or for the weekend their sort of weekend deal thing. They do the second hand Sunday thing every week, but this week they focused on Lima stuff and they called it Lovely Lima or something like that. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. But this meant that basically all the second hand Lima stuff they got in, which, to be fair, being as that Lima hasn't really existed as an independent company since I think it's about 2007. It was bought by Hornby. They all the second-hand Lima stuff that they've got knocking about, they bring to the main shop, and a certain extent the rail, the shop at the railway station. Although I didn't go there, I went to the main shop. They brought all that there, did a big discount thing to try and empty the warehouse out of it, and they got some of my money. This set, this one here, the Lima TGV, cost me £98, which is an absolute bargain, because I've seen this set on eBay for a lot more than that, and 9 times out of 10 when you actually look at the ones on eBay, they're smashed or need new motors and everything like that. This, because it's from Rails of Sheffield, they make sure that it works before they sell you it, and usually anything you can buy second-hand, any second-hand engines or anything like that, they will be working. Although they will tell you, because there we are. There's their little inspection card. It does say on it some markings on the outside. I can live with that. And some rusty bits, which is fair. That's fair. There were a few more problems than that. I mean, they actually demonstrated it working for me in the store, and in the store it looked really nice. But when I got it home, I stuck it on my rails, and it and it's like I say, it looks like it hasn't had any cleaning or maintenance done on it since 1981, because the motor bogie, which is, I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, the motor bogie is this one here. Because it's a Lima, it is cheap and cheerful. It's literally, there is one motor on this entire train, and it's right here behind this wall. There is also a light bulb which lights up the cab, and that's your lot. Everything else is just as you see it. Plastic thing is metal wheels, which is good. Unfortunately, this part, obviously, the wheels on this part must be in good nick and clean, and oh my god, they were not. They're still not, actually. I've done a fairly good clean on the wheels. I had this part, which was a bit of a bugger, because it's not intuitive how you actually take this section apart, but I managed it. As it turns out, there's literally just a small clip at the back here which you unclip and the top comes off, which you don't realise that when you look at it, because there's actually 2 screws underneath here. So my first attempt was pop the screws out and then but nothing happened when I shook it. And it's the clip there needs to be done. Yeah, the clip first, then the screws, and then it just literally you pick the grab hold of this, lift it, and it just drops out. But yeah, so when I opened it up, and I can tell that this has never had any maintenance or anything done on it because inside was actual Lima branded sellotape holding the wiring down. And one thing I did discover when I opened it up is these pantographs can actually be used to pick up power. If instead of using power from the rails, you want to use power from overhead lines, or is it catenary lines, you can use the metal pantographs to do that. Although when we zoom in here, as we can see, these are rusty as hell. So I'm going to have to get busy with some deruster or something, or give them a bit of a sandpapering to get the rust off and get them polished up a little bit better so they look a bit better. But then again, it's like I say, when you're looking at it like this, you can't really see. They just look a bit dirty, which an actual TGV would look dirty when it's running because, trains are big smelly things, big smelly, loud, noisy, whatever things, and they do get dirty. But yeah, so after I'd cleaned a lot because the actual wheels themselves were covered in black shit. So when I was trying to run it for the very first time, it wasn't picking up much electric. It was stuttering, even just on its own. I didn't have any of these connected to it. It was just that on its own. It was stuttering even when I give it a poke or a push or whatever to get it going. Nope, it was not happy at all. So I put grease on all the cogs. That helped it a lot, and cleaned the wheels off to the point where you can actually see metal on the wheel rims instead of filth. It does need more. I am gonna have to get one of those fiberglass pencil things to properly clean the wheels off. Because the only things I really have for being able to clean wheels is just basically hot water, soap, and like kitchen roll or cotton buds, or even emery boards, things like that. And I don't particularly feel comfortable using sandpaper or emery boards to clean wheels, even though this did actually need something abrasive on it to get the crap off the wheels. I cannot emphasize how much crap was built up on the wheels. This is the positive end, this is the negative end, and when you can't make a circuit and you can't pick power up from the tracks, it's going nowhere. The other thing that it needed as well was, as it's a single motor bogie, it should have two traction tyres on it. It had one traction tyre, and that traction tyre it had had its day. It was loose and just falling off. But I did actually have a couple of traction tyres left over from when I was working on the Class 58 to get that going. That's still an ongoing project that I've had to shelve for the time being. Same with a couple of other kind of rail related projects until us moving, or me moving somewhere else other than this house is sorted out. But yeah, that's nothing to do with railways. But yeah, so does it run now? Well, yeah, of course it does. I made sure it run. If it didn't run, I would have packed this fucker up and it'd have gone back to rails. But I spotted it. They actually had it in the window at rails in its box, and I was just idly scanning while I was smoking a cigarette outside the shop. And I spotted it, and I said to my friend who was there with me, I was like, "Oh, TGV, I'm having that," And I was, I was expecting the price to be in the range of maybe about 150 or something like that. No, 98 pounds. I was quite happy. As I just said, as long as it runs, if it might need a little bit of maintenance on it, I don't mind that much. But as long as it runs, I'm having it because, yeah. So, anyways, that's how it came into my possession. But the actual history behind this particular, this is a TGV, it's known usually as the TGV Sud-Est, or TGV Southeast. It was the very first model of the TGV that was used in France. It made its kind of debut in 1981. Although it had been in development since the late 60s. Basically, the French government had the same kind of deal going off as what the British government did. Their rail system needed a fast express train to replace all the the aging steam. They didn't have much steam left back in France then, but because they'd kind of embraced the whole electric and diesel thing before Britain did. In the late 60s, Britain was still getting over its addiction to steam to a certain extent, and was begrudgingly accepting diesel. But the French had no, the French weren't stuck on steam. They just wanted a train that did the job. And being as that France is a lot bigger than Britain, they needed a very fast express, basically an express passenger train. The original idea behind the TGV was that it would. They only had the name TGV, which means train à grande vitesse, basically high speed train. And they wanted it to contain the most up-to-date technology possible, because it was not only was it solving a problem, it was also a matter of prestige for French science and the French government, and French engineering companies. They wanted a vehicle that would be the most up-to-date and bestest and shiniest, fastest, whatever. And the original plan was to make the TGV be the same as the GT3 there, as in powered by a gas turbine engine. Unfortunately, as we've seen with most gas turbine engine trains that are out there, that idea goes pretty much nowhere fast. They also wanted a train, although they also wanted to try a train that had actual jet engines attached to the top of it. Basically, they'd have a train with two jet engines sort of mounted here, and it would blast the exhaust gases out there. That went nowhere quick. So they went with an electric train, because that was the cheapest and most efficient way of doing it, without pissing everybody along the route off by having screaming loud jet engines. And so, between I think it was 1978 and 1988, they built 111 examples of this, the TGV Sud-Est. About, I think only 4 of them actually still exist, because this particular model has been retired and most of them scrapped. But yeah, this was the very first, and for a while it was actually the fastest train in the world, even faster than the Japanese Type Zero Shinkansen, or bullet train. But then the newer models of bullet train came along and left this in the dust. Yeah. So usually this is the pack it comes with. Obviously, we have a power car at the front, then passenger cars, because it is, like I say, it is a passenger train, high speed passenger train. So we've got 2 of those on here. Connected exactly the same way as the Eurostar and the Mahano, more modern TGV that I have, with this arrangement here. Same as the Hornby APT as well. You have the power car separate, and then these connect on, and then we have a dummy car at the back that has no lights or anything like that in it. It just gets pulled along. You can actually buy, and Rails did actually have another set of 4 of these passenger cars, which you could connect it all together, so that I could have had 6 passenger cars. But I don't want a TGV with 6 passenger cars. Well, yeah, 6 passenger cars. That would be massive. It's literally, if the front was here, and then I put the 6 passenger cars, the back of the back car of the TGV would be over here somewhere. That's a bit too big for my liking, but yeah. So yeah, they ran this in the southeast region. Sud-Est is French for southeast. Its primary line was between Paris and Lyon, or Paris et Lyon. Yeah, and the service ran. People liked it, and it did its job. It was a great invention. The TGV was actually kind of the first train that I paid attention to. I paid attention to, in detail. I'd heard of and liked the bullet train first, when I was a young'un. But the TGV was the first train that I was sort of interested in how it worked and what speeds it could go at and things like that and what it was. And I've never ridden on one of these, and now I'm unlikely to, being as that, you know, only 4 exist in preservation and they're all in France. So, you know, I don't think I'll be getting over to France to a French railway, you know, a French historical railway or whatever to ride on one. I don't even know whether they run them actually. I would presume that they would, being as that there's 4 in working condition. But yeah, never mind. So yeah, the actual train itself, yep, like I say, I've got it going. So let's send it off. You know, there we go. The thing lights up because it's just a bulb inside the cab. That's something that's kind of long-term planned to replace. Replace the bulb inside there with... Let's turn this light off. Where are we? There we go. Turn this light off so you can kind of see the thing better. Yeah? The bulb does do a good job of lighting the cab up. It doesn't light pipe through to the headlamps though. You know, it's like I say, it's a Lima. You're lucky to get the light on, and obviously there's no directional lighting on it because the back end car is just a dummy. But yeah, I saw. God no, I can't remember who it was, but I watched somebody on YouTube that actually had one of these, or they got one. But when they got it, it was the person they bought it off on eBay had been a bit sneaky, and it was actually damaged. So they had to. Oh dear, I'm coughing. They actually had to buy parts to fix it and make it so that they actually had an operational one. But yeah, this I saw that, and as soon as I became aware that existed, I thought, oh, I would very, very much like one of those, although I'm probably not likely to get one. So to find one sat in the window of rails, I was like, yeah, I'm having that, because chances are I'll never see one in as good a condition for that kind of price again. I do know that in the same series, the Lima Golden series, they did do a Type 0 Shinkansen, and I would very, very much like one of those as well. But maybe one day I'll go rails and we'll have one of those in the window. But at the moment, no, they don't. So yeah, this is at 50%, and considering the fact that it's just a standard Lima ring motor in there with 2 traction tyres, at 50%, it's chugging along nicely, and that's even though the pickups on the wheels and everything like that are still dirty as hell and need another damn good deep clean. But we'll ramp the power up to 100, and as you can see, the speed picks up. But on my 3rd radius oval, it's still nice and steady. I would say, the 3 sort of French train TGV derived engines I have, out of the 3, this one is the most stable when going around this third radius, because the Mahano TGV, that being as the way that's powered, with a centralized motor car and then a drive shaft, that kind of gives me the the thing, because when it comes around this corner at speed, you're sort of like, is it going to fly off here? Because it has actually done that a couple of times. And the, what's the other one? The Eurostar has done that once as well, when up at full power, it came around this corner and then carried on going in this direction and ended up down here on the floor. But this, yeah, nice and stable. It's like I said there, the wheels do. If I clean the wheels off, it might be able to pick up more power and thus go a bit faster. But I'm quite happy with it at this speed. It's nice. It looks nice going round. It is noisy though, but then again, like I say, it is a Lima, and it's only got 1 motor bogie, and it's an old Ringfield motor. So yeah, it's going to be noisy. But most of that noise actually comes from the metal wheels, because every single wheel on this is metal. So what you're hearing is the noise of the metal wheels against the track. So, that's nice there. Like I say, it looks good coming towards you, and it looks good heading away from you, although it would look better if it had some lights at the back, but never mind, that's something I can address at some point in the future with some LEDs and a bit of wiring. But yeah, so if you can pick up this this model for £100, you should be buying it. Obviously, you need it to be in this condition first, where it works. It works. It just needs a bit of cleaning and maintenance on it, and it works as good as this. You know, if you pay £100 for it and you get something with a burnt out motor and missing wheels and stuff like that, no, don't buy that. But yeah, for £98 for a second hand or maybe third hand, I've no idea how many people have owned this before me. But yeah, for £98, this is an absolute bargain. It's a lovely model. It's got lovely detailing on it. I mean, we haven't looked at the detailing really, but there's not much to say about the detailing really, because the actual TGV itself doesn't have that much detailing on it. So yeah, there we go. The Lima TGV going around the track. Nice.